Why intermediate learners struggle with business English listening. Hello and welcome to Gist English Masterclass. Today I want to explore a common issue in language learning. Why intermediate English learners often struggle with business English listening, even when they feel confident in general conversation. Let's unpack this together. First, business English is a specialized language. Intermediate learners are usually comfortable with daily interactions, social talk, and structured grammar, but business settings introduce a completely different register. You'll hear things like, "Let's touch base next week. We need to circle back to this after the board review. What's the ballpark figure for Q3?" These are not just unfamiliar words. They're set expressions, idioms, and collocations that are rarely taught in standard ESL courses. Second, listening in business settings means more than understanding vocabulary. It requires decoding fast, often accented speech, filled with jargon and layered meaning. Take this sentence. "We've hit a snag with the onboarding KPIs, but legal wants it streamlined before we move on to the compliance round." That's a lot to process, and it's spoken quickly, with no subtitles. Third, many learners haven't been exposed to authentic business audio. Textbooks and classroom recordings often use scripted dialogues or slowed-down speech. But in real life, meetings are fast-paced. There's background noise. There's overlapping talk. There's no second chance to hear the sentence. Intermediate learners rarely get to listen to real Zoom meetings, internal podcasts, or informal brainstorming sessions. That gap makes a huge difference. Fourth, business communication often happens under pressure. In a real meeting, you're listening, taking notes, checking slides, and preparing to speak, all at the same time. Even learners with solid grammar and vocabulary get overwhelmed by this kind of multitasking. Finally, there's the layer of pragmatics and culture. In business English, people don't always say what they mean directly. You might hear, "That's an interesting proposal," which actually means they're not convinced. We'll need to revisit that, might mean it's been rejected without saying so explicitly. If you don't catch these cues, you miss the message entirely. So, what can learners do to improve? Start listening to real business conversations, interviews, podcasts, meeting recordings. Focus on listening for meaning, not every word. Build up your vocabulary around the industry you work in, whether it's marketing, finance, or project management. And don't forget to train your ear for tone, hesitation, and implied meaning. Listening in business English is not about being perfect. It's about being responsive, confident, and able to follow fast-changing discussions. That's it for today's episode. If you faced any challenges with business English listening, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more practical tips for real-world English communication. See you next time.